So, a lot of people have started to ask me when I tell them what it is I have transitioned into my life to do. Um, and so, when I tell them realty, like I'm doing real estate, I a lot of times get asked, well, why did you pick realty? Um, and honestly, I stumbled when I was asked the question because there's so many things that come rushing to my mind when I talk about the why, right? And so I would, just like I'm kind of doing now, tripping over my words a little bit and just saying, oh, well, it's the homes. I mean, it's the people, it's belonging, it's security, it's what's important. Um, and honestly, I'd walk away feeling like, well, that just sounded ridiculous. You just sounded like you just literally threw out a whole bunch of words hoping something would stick. And I really kind of left frustrated. And it wasn't until, that one of my good friends asked me, and I did the same thing to them, and I left going, really? So it had just bothered me and bothered me. And then it clicked. You ever have those moments where you're like, yes, that's it. That's why I do what I do. And this story just comes together. And that's how it was for me. So I'm going to tell you that story of how it all clicked, and then that's going to obviously fold out to my why. Why realty? Why do I love it? Why do I get excited when I talk about it? And why did I choose to dive in to something that can look relatively challenging and look oversaturated, to be quite honest. And so here it is. So I after that question, I was just like, I was really just asking the Lord. I was like, God, why am I doing this? Like, I know, everybody's gonna be like, oh, it's the money. And while the money is there, yeah, sure. A, it's not guaranteed. And B, it's not all about the money. It's really, for me, about the people. It's connecting with the people. And so I had this opportunity. One of my peers had asked me, hey, would you like to go show this property with me to one of my clients? And I said, oh, I'd love to tag along. I think that would be great. And so here, I met my peer and I met their client at this adorable Midtown home. And immediately, that my peer and we started walking through the house, and so started pointing out some things, about the home, about, how new the air conditioner, the heating, and all that was. Did we notice any cracks, any shift movement in the house? Was the house sliding anywhere? And so we were just dialoguing through that. And then as we were doing that, I was looking at this home, and he was talking to me about it. But here's me, right? I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh, the stories this house could tell. You knew life had lived there, right? You just knew it. And it wasn't like beat up or anything. It just had character. And it just screamed that life had happened there. And you're thinking, duh, it's a home. Of course life happened. But there's just some that you can get a vibe where you're just like, yeah, but you knew that there was love in this house. Just in the little details that were still left behind. And so, I'm envisioning, like, here's where I would put my office, and here's what you could do with this room, and, all this character, and just really getting excited about the home. Well, in walks in the client. Adorable client, super sweet. And I love that she just included me. Like, she could have just told me, like, why are you here, and ignored me and only talked to her, the realtor that was representing her, my peer. But she engaged me, and she brought me into her world. And so she started talking about her day and what happened and how her life was transitioning. And just all the things that were happening as we continued to walk about this house. Of course, we talked about the house. We talked about the home's features and things. But she started talking about the home that she was coming from. And this house was a total upgrade for her. And what this house had to offer her. And she was thinking about it, not just in the sense of how it was an upgrade, but also what it was going to leave for her children and how she was envisioning it. So here I am, nobody to her. She hasn't talked to me. Just introduced ourselves, and she's just bringing me into her world, right? So then we have the story of just the house in and of itself. You knew that there was long-time love, there was long-time commitment to the home, because the home had started to be modified for assisted living, someone that was needing a little more assistance with ramps, etc. And you just saw it and you knew that it was there, right? Obviously care and security, and warmth. And so, and then we found a treasure. I was so excited. We found some pictures, and I just loved the pictures. They were telling a story. They were telling the home story. So not only did I have my imagination to run with, but I had the ability to actually see it. So that's a unique piece. And then we go in the backyard and we see their hobbies come to life. We see these raised plots of land. And so you would typically think that that would be a raised garden. Well, it wasn't. And so then we saw other clues. We saw railroad ties. We saw, railroad sign. They had this massive shed, so you knew a hobby. And sure enough, they had railroad tracks. So it was like uncovering treasure. And so I say all of that because in this, what I loved about it, what I came to life, what I can say to people is, why realty? It's because of the story. It's the stories that have been told, that are being told, that are yet to be told, and that I get to be a part of that. I get to connect people to the homes and the hearts and their visions and their dreams. And I get to be a small part of that story. Of course, I hope the relationships last longer than that. I don't want it to end there. It's not just a transaction. I'm hoping that we connect in a way that honestly builds a lasting relationship. That's what I want. And that's my desire. But I love it. And I just want to be a part of the story. So why realty? It's the stories. It's the passions. It's the love, the security, the belonging, all of that tied together. And it's allowing me to come in and be a part of that story and to be a part of your world. So absolutely realty all day long. And the reason is, it's the story. So hopefully that answers the question burning in your heart, why realty? And also that I hope that encourages you to select me, because it's more than just a transaction. It's connecting your heart to your home. And I want to be a part of that story. Thanks so much and have a great day. See ya.